Hi, Scorpio. So, this wasp was inside the house last night and I took it outside. But it kind of stayed in this little cup. And it's just been chilling. It seems tired. Maybe it's been buzzing around a lot. So I guess we'll take this as a message. If you've been buzzing around a lot, maybe this is a really good time for you to replenish your energy or to figure out what's going on with the levels of what you're doing, right? And making sure that you have enough of what you need, right? Everybody needs to relax. Oh, where did it go? Did it fly away? Oh, I didn't see it. Cool. Oh, maybe that was the one I just saw. Awesome. It rested though, like, that was a full 12 hours of resting, of sleeping. Okay. Moving along, Scorpio. So, it's Mars Day today, Tuesday. This is your ruler. I'm actually going to record you in Aries today. You're the last two on the roster, which is cool. So you were recorded with Aries before. I think it was in February. So, let's move ahead. Well, on the undercurrent, we have this very intelligent person. The way her posture is and her expression, it's showing me that someone really wants to speak what's in their heart, or someone has spoken, like someone has been like this, even though usually the Queen of Swords is like kind of cold in this deck, it's very loving, right? She's just like, no, I really mean it. I want to tell you how I feel. It's almost like water and air mixed together. I want to tell you how I feel. Like, and be Queen of Swords, like, be so honest, right? Like, this is how I feel, but it's not like, this is how I feel. It's not that kind of thing. It's, this is how I feel. I feel like this. So, perhaps you're learning more of a, maybe there's some kind of learning or expression around the language of love. Wasn't that your reading last month? Love, a story you can understand. Love, right? Hey, are you the same wasp? You rule all insects. Isn't that wild? All of them. Okay. That's a lot of... that's a lot of... well, I don't even know how to explain it. Well, let's... so I came up with this whole new spread for you. This whole new spread. I'm pretty excited about it. Okay, so... let's see where you're at. Ooh, the Fante de Copi. The little page of cups, right? This is also a very sweet, loving energy. Very creative energy. Let's see what's crossing that. I did choose an extra card. Okay. Regina da Bastoni. So the queen, well, it's actually Regina, the woman of wands. She is powerful. She is so powerful. Okay, so what you want right now is something to be on the same page. I'm trying to feel into the, I'm trying to see all the parts before I say something. Like, express what I'm seeing, you know what I mean? And it's more of like a feeling to what I'm seeing than versus like, okay, this is you. Well, you are creative, you are powerful, you are passionate, you are beautiful, you are, I saw the word ingenious. You also can like wear any kind of clothes and you just look wonderful. But especially when you put a little extra into it, man, you are hot stuff, right? It's intriguing. People are very intrigued by you, Scorpio. I want you to remember your power. But as we talked about in the beginning, and especially with that wasp, you know, usually wasps are like bzz, 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 all day. But everybody needs to chill and rest, right? Maybe you want to take care of yourself sometimes. Remember, no matter how old you are, you need to mother yourself or discipline yourself to be like, hey, time for bed, you know, or you need a nap. It's nap time, you know, something like that. I would also say both these cards to me are extremely creative. Now, if some of you also are wanting to start some sort of new creative project, or there's something you've been working on, and you have some goals and ideas, right? Queen of Wands is, to me, is an entrepreneur. She works for, she's very, she can work well with others. She prefers to kind of work alone. But that's because her process is like very much her own. Does this make sense? But with both of these, creative energy, or maybe just maybe you want to brainstorm with someone about plans. Oh, I forgot to mention that. I already recorded you and Aries together, but it was Sunday. I was in my pajamas. I felt like I looked like shit. Like I could have like tried. I was watching this puppy. I raised my voice. It was like I could have done better, and so I decided to do it again and try to be better. So let's see what's going on with your relationships. Okay, Two of Swords. So maybe some kind of decision. This is also a similar energy of, okay, I want to think about this. I'm trying to decide. Not only swords are logic, right? Swords are mental. They're like, okay, I really want to think about this. Yeah, Four of Pentacles. Like, I want to think about this practically, right? Because no one wants to be, right, the fool to the world. Whoa, I guess this is a lesson of like, been there, done that, right? Say in certain ways, been there, done that. You've obviously been a fool before, been tricked before, and then you come all the way back around and realize, okay, you've done this. You know, it's like 3 strikes, you're out, right? But what do they say? Fool me once. What is it? Fool me once. Shame on you. Fool me twice. Shame on me. And then I don't know what happens with the third one. Maybe you don't have to get there. Like I heard the third round of shame. You know, shame is an interesting thing too, because I guess that's kind of shame. Let's make an acronym for that. Well, I feel like the acronym I was just going to say was very private. Please come up with an acronym for shame for you. Because you know what, really... Oh, we were just going to get really deep and philosophical on what this all means and whatever. I feel like, let's go back to it. Let's bring it back up to the surface, right? So that just got 2 We almost lost the mental, like practical aspect and went into this other deeper mental realm of like over analyzing something and not actually getting to the point of like making a decision. And that's what the Two of Swords is about. Maybe some of you will make a decision over the next few months. Air to me is faster, so it would be more months than years, right? I mean, for some of you, this could be something, this could be in ways of weeks, like maybe there's something where, again, you start putting things in order, but with Two of Swords in the traditional sense, this is usually a person who is blindfolded. So the decision can not only be mental, you do have to really feel into it and trust your feelings, right? But what comes after this is the Three of Swords. So sometimes with a decision, right? Like, well, when you decide one thing, this decides other things happen because of that 11:11. Yes, it, like with that opening, it's like with all open doors, right? There's a door that closes, and that's okay. I guess I need to remember that. Remember, fixed energy has sometimes a hard time. To me, Scorpio has a lot of karma attached to it. Everybody has Scorpio on their map. And if you're a highly developed Scorpio, then you don't want to hurt anybody. You know what I mean? You don't want to hurt anybody. And then the big lesson, if you're in that space, is, okay, how do you make decisions so you also don't hurt yourself? Then you get to this whole other level, right? Of then here's the opening, right? We'll pull an extra card on that in a second. Let's see what's going on with your career or with work. Okay, Knight of Cavare di Denare, which is basically the cavalry of money. The Knight of Pentacles. So, job, steady. This card is a card, it is a slow card. So for some of you, work could be slow, but I feel like more than anything, the first energy I picked up on this was steady. So maybe some of you need to pick up the pace, or some of you are realizing, like, say there is a little bit of a drag. Like work, what do they say? It's feeling like a drag. It's like, okay, well, what can you do to, especially in Taurus time, happy opposite birthday, by the way. Maybe in Taurus time, it might be nice to be like, okay, what do I need financially to be able to sustain? What are you saving your money for? I just held my breath there. It's like, remember, I guess with breathing, just like money, just like the ocean, it's like, you remember that things come in and out. Do you know what I'm saying? And you know what? If some of you are a freelancer too, or are doing something on the side in addition to, say you have a steady job, but you're trying to do something a little different, or you're trying to add in an element to it or change it in some kind of way. I suppose some of you could be thinking about, for instance, can you move with your job? If you wanted to, like, is there another company? Is your company open to that? If you work for yourself, how does environment, I guess, affect your career? And I want you to know that because this card is here, this goes to show that most of you have an opportunity to either stay where you are or take what you have and go somewhere else, and it would still be steady. So I want you to know that you have security, okay? We'll pull another card on that in a second. Let's see what's going on. What's changing right now? Oh, the Lovers. Wow. Right, sits below this. So this is about a choice. Here's a choice. So changes. You have options and ways of how you want to change. Okay. I feel like Capricorn's reading will be helpful for you. They sextile you. And they're actually stepping up into this. They're leveling up. If the happiness is real, I'll give you a bit of theirs because I guess you're connecting this energy collectively anyway. They are leveling up. If the happiness is real, whatever is real is like leveling up 2 steps. Now, of course, this is always a little scary when we go up a little higher, right? Or want to step into this new space, right? But there are 3 things. There are 3 things. I guess to make a decision, you have to have a conversation, not only with yourself, about, maybe you want to write about it. We talked about writing last month and the power of that, you know? I heard, what do I love about my job? Like, how am I feeling about where I live? How am I feeling about this relationship? How am I feeling about that relationship? How do I feel about change right now too? Because although it's Taurus season, which is very steady, it's also a very wonderful time to step ahead in certain ways, like take that step forward, or even do a little, like I heard, skip to Maluma, darling, and feel confident about that, right? Because you, being the opposite of Taurus, gives the bravery to realize that you can't do life perfect. None of us are perfect. None of us will be able to go through life without pain. And none of us will go through life without pleasure. But you can find really sweet middle ground, and the best way to ensure that there is less pain is to be honest, right? With yourself, which is the most important thing. If you do that, when you're honest with other people, you don't feel bad about it. And if anybody else is hurt by that, for instance, like, you know, say for some of you are like, you know, this job really, you know, even though it's steady, whatever, like for some of you are like, okay, this is steady, but actually I'm wanting more. I want to step into the queen. I want to step into the king. I want a little bit, I want something more with this, you know. Remember that whenever someone steps out of something, something always steps in, right? Like it's just making a place for something else. Okay. Let's see about what's happening like in your self-development right now. 6 of Cups. Wow. Okay, so learning how to balance your emotions, good. Learning how to feel good about the past. And looking at things lovingly and practically, right? Sits below this Knight of Pentacles, lovingly and practically. I guess there's something from the past that also does feel steady, but there could be something. Just a second. Well, let's keep going. Let's look at that decision. What's going on in your relationships? Scorpio. I feel like some of you are looking at your age too, or like looking, not exactly, let's see, we have 2 cards. Let's do that, and then I'd like one for career and then spiritual development. So changes in relationships. Okay, there we go. Thank you very much. That one goes there. That one goes there. Okay. So, oh, I love this card. It actually goes this way. It's this beautiful reflection, right? Of the swamp. I love a swamp. It's a beautiful reflection, and how you're able to see this so clearly is because the emotions, the water is calm, right? Calm. Let's see that one. Okay. Some of you are, your career is wanting you to take you to a new place. Some of you, again, this could be relocation. Others of you, it could be stepping into something, or maybe you're changing your position, or you're changing what you offer. You know, something like this. I want you to be open to that. I see that you have help with that, and you are allowed to be creative in it, right? But I guess because Mona Lisa is like, is she smiling? Is she frowning? Is she smiling? Is she frowning? Like, oh, she's smiling. She's smiling. Good. Okay. So with your two of swords, this what's going on in your relationships and this decision, you have this this magic child, which actually is looking over at your career section. So if relationships right now are a little bit confusing with people, or it's not like there's been some changes, you know, maybe some of you have made, you know, you get to this place of making the decision. It's like that. It's almost like, I heard something gets the ball rolling. It's like, okay, because you know, it's almost like, you know, that if you're like, okay, if I make this decision about that, this has to do with the relationships, right? It's like, okay, if I make this decision, then this changes that, and then that changes this, and then that changes that. But what's cool about it is if you're open to this change, then you can be so much more creative about it. 22, 22. Double 11, 11. You're making me want to smoke. Okay, not judging. I'm not pushing on you. I wanted to do this. Okay, it's not you are making me. I want to do it. All right, fine. Okay, cool. Wait, I want to see what's on the radio. I need a lover to trust. Okay, so let's go back to it. In relation to your relationships, whatever the decision is, if you're in a place where you're like, I don't know, I need to fill it out, I need to think about it, I want to think about it. You know, maybe for some of you, your job or something, there's an opportunity to be like, hey, here's a great big, like I said with that Capricorn energy, like, here's a great big opportunity, do something different or to whatever. If that's the case, just be honest if you don't know. But I would kind of put a time frame on it, because you have this great opportunity right now for growth, is the word I see. Now, if you are in this in-between stage, I would say that it would be important for you to look deep inside of yourself to what is valuable to you. Maybe you want to look at, what don't I want to lose? Right? With all these changes, what are the things that you know are important to you that you don't want to lose? You want to have it. You know? Will you be willing, I heard, to make the sacrifice to keep it? Right? Make sure you're not hurting yourself with that, though. I heard, because you're allowed to be happy too, in case you forgot. Now, I would also say it could be wise for you to also look at your own finances, because he's looking over at your career. So it's kind of like, you know that if your money's good, you rule other people's resources. So if you feel good about what you have in your bank account financially, or what you can do with what you have, right? Protecting that inner child inside of you, regardless of how many children you have or how old they are or whatever. It's like you making sure that you're all set there. Then I feel like your relationships are going to be better. right? Because the thing is sometimes people do things where they're like, well, I can't do this because that'll affect you. Now, yes, in certain ways, this is kind and aware that your actions affect someone else. That means that you're not a selfish person. Good. But sometimes, I find, especially with Scorpio energy, sometimes it's like all the water will do this, where it will say, well, you'll almost sacrifice your own happiness to try to not make a rift. But again, if you know the truth in yourself, in your heart, then well, honesty is the best policy. Okay. We talked about career. Let's go down into your changes. So you actually, again, you have the Lover's card, and now you have this man with all these awesome, like, lunar moths. Look how many there are. Really dedicated. How do you see yourself as a... Well, I actually heard, who do you want to grow old with? Or how do you see yourself as... Like, who can you be yourself around? Not someone who enables your negative parts, but where you can be yourself, because everyone makes these, I heard, small mistakes sometimes, right? Like, for instance, when I recorded you and Aries the other day, when I was watching the puppy on Aries, the little puppy kept scratching at the door, and I told it once. It was like one strike. I was like, cut it out. Like, don't do that. I was like, no, I'll take that back. In the beginning, I was like, it's cool, chill. The second time, I was just like, you don't need to whine. Stop. It's fine. And on the third time, I was like, hey! I was like, cut it the fuck out! And I raised my voice, you know? Like, it's like something elevates. Who do you want to grow with in your life? Who are you growing with in your life right now? What is it that you want as an individual? What is it that you are wanting to grow? Okay. Wherever something has been kind of cool, I feel like it will be becoming warmer. In ways of this emotional space too, I feel as if it's good to look at it. Okay. How do I see this? It's kind of like... Give me a second. Pep it up, pep it up, pep. It's like pep it up. It's like you don't have to worry about being duped if you know where you're at and what you want, right? Stay close, baby. Maybe some of you are having this self-development too. Maybe there's something where like some of you are gaining a new perspective about a connection of the past. could be a previous relationship. It could be someone that was really close to you. It could be someone that's really close to you now. It's like, you know, you'll know a person by their friends. Do you know what I mean? Or how they treat their friends, or what they're committed to, right? Who is it, for instance, if you were like, you know that you needed help with something? This could be physical, this could be emotional, this could be mental. Maybe you want to break these down. But like, if you needed help with something, like, who are these people or the person that would be there for you no matter what? And maybe that's a part of it, is like something about trust, right? Because sometimes trust is broken, you know. Oh, let me read that to you before we close this out. So I was sitting thinking the other day about what's important to me, and like where I stand in ways of, like, I was trying to figure out what is important and where I learned that from. And I realized, for me, one of the strongest foundational parts of me, say in ways of morals, in ways of how I deal with people now. It used to be something that got me in trouble because I didn't understand the lesson, but now that I came to understand the lesson, now I can view it in this other way, so now it brings me positive results instead of hurting me, right? Or putting me in precarious places. And I wrote this down. Some correction lessons come from someone not doing something, right? Like, someone doesn't do something for you or to you the way that you want, but what it does is it corrects you, or it helps correct, like as a soul lesson, right? It's going to like correct you into doing something better because someone didn't do something, right? Like, okay, someone lied to you or abandoned you or whatever it is. It's like, okay, well, don't lie to yourself. Don't stop abandoning yourself, right? Things like this. The second part was, some correct lessons come from someone doing something wrong, right? It's because I just saw someone like with a wrench in a car. It was like something broke, right? Something was wrong. And it's like, well, I guess I have to fix that. That needs to be fixed. But sometimes we don't know what to do when something's wrong because it's new. And the thing is we all do things that are wrong. And what is that for? It's to correct things, you know? And then I wrote, honesty is the best policy. So I actually saw that in relation to the people in your life, perhaps some of you, because I feel like this is strong with the Lovers and the Six of Cups and the Two of Swords. It's kind of like, if you could say anything to the people in your life, and maybe this is something you want to write down, and if you're too shy or you feel like this is too invasive or like too raw, and because I understand, we've talked about this, it's like sometimes Scorpio's afraid to speak its truth, or to even like have a diary because you feel like someone's going to invade your privacy, right? Which is totally understandable. But it's kind of like, if you could say anything to somebody, what would you say? Maybe you need to say it out loud to yourself. Maybe some of you need to write a letter. Like, what would I say to this person if I could say anything to them? The people that you're dealing with in your life, what would you say? And again, if it's something that you're not, you need to have this conversation again with yourself to be able to figure it out. Then maybe you burn it after you're done so no one can see it. You know what I mean? But really, I feel like that will help you to figure out what the decision is so you can know really how you feel. Do you know what I mean? Okay. Okay. I want a lover I can really trust. Someone you can work with, someone you can build with. I also see this is great energy for good work, right? Work being good. Yeah, Six of Swords and the Three of Pentacles. Maybe some of you do want to think about what the next stage is in your career, or again, some of you, well, I guess we talked about it, so we don't have to be redundant. I love you, Scorpio. Thank you for handling all the things that you handle. And please know that whatever stresses that you're going through, or again, like consideration to what you have as a person and what you want to have, I guess you want to have a conversation with that. You know, what you're really wanting to have. I mean, if you want to address the challenges too, you can. That's helpful, right? But I guess you want to look at this as an individual, you know? Like from this very, again, it was like that cigarette thing we said. You know, it's like, you're not making me do it. I'm choosing for myself. And independent choice. Independent choice. Who would support you no matter what? No matter what you chose, if you were like, yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make this career change. I'm going to move here. I'm going to marry this person. Whatever all these things are, these big things. It's like, who would support you and be like, you're going to do great. You know? Because remember, wherever we hide anything, we're embarrassed or shameful. And I guess this is where something needs to be owned, right? Like something needs to be like, well, I heard I'm doing this. Yeah, Knight of Wands and the Eight of Pentacles. Like, I'm going to do this. I can do this. Okay? There's the Two of Swords. And maybe for some of you, this is like, I'm going to change. You know? And maybe looking at where you'd like, again, like, what changes you're going through and what changes that you would like to make versus something happening to you. It's like you choosing, yep, for yourself, because you have that power and that faith and you know that it's right. Right? Self-respect. Okay. Thank you so much for being a part of this space. I do hope this was of service. My voice is always softer at the end. It's like soft and a little bit like, then it gets intense, right? Then it kind of plateaus and then it goes down a little, then it goes up a little and then it plateaus and then it gets real soft. It's just the flow of things. It's cool. And please feel good about work, okay? Yes. You're not a fool. Plus, you've been around the block enough to know what's real or not. You know? Again, I see, you don't got to worry about being duped. No. However you support this space, however you support the people in your life, however you are supporting yourself, I thank you. I hope you have a wonderful month. If you're looking also to and enjoyed this reading, I don't know if you're new or you've been here for a while, but I also have a Patreon page which has extra content. If you'd like to check it out, I've been doing a lot more astrology readings lately, like classes. So anyway, I love you so much, and if you'd like to check it out, please feel free. There's a link below. Any of you have already planted your seeds in the garden, thank you for being a part of this life. This is a thank you. Thank you. I'll talk to you later.